haven't had sex before, or you haven't had much of it, or just haven't had it recently, then getting out there in the world can be a scary thing. In this video, I'm going to share 7 things that you can do and know right now to make you a better lover. And no matter your experience level, these 7 tips will help you to prepare for your next encounter. I want to tell you about my client, Darren. He's in his early 30s and he was pretty inexperienced when it came to sex. He'd had a few hookups and even a couple girlfriends in college and in his early 20s, but then he got really invested in his work. He started to spend most of his nights at his computer hustling. I mean, sure, he went on a date or 2 every so often, but women weren't really his priority until it all changed. And that's when he called me. You see, Darren suffered from plain old inexperience. By following these 7 steps, Darren was finally able to overcome his fears and, more importantly, get laid. Let me take you through exactly what I taught him. Step number 1, accept that rejection happens to everyone. Rejection, as scary as it may be, will happen. And that is okay, because rejection happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how hot, rich, skilled, cool, interesting, anything that you are. Every single person on this earth experiences rejection from time to time. I mean, even the most attractive, richest men in the world are not every single woman's cup of tea, right? Every man has been told by a woman that she isn't interested. Every woman has had a crush on someone who didn't like her back. I mean, some of us have had a gajillion of those. You know what? This is totally normal. But most importantly, it is not a reflection of anyone's worth. It has everything to do with personal preference and compatibility. Take, for example, Margot Robbie, current girl crush of mine. She is stunning. She played Barbie, and yet there was a huge thing on the internet about her being mid. Not a single person on this earth is universally attractive to everyone, and not a single person on this earth likes the same thing when it comes to fooling around and having sex. And the sooner that you learn that rejection is a part of life, the sooner that you can take your fear out of it. And if you're experiencing this fear of rejection, I ask you, honestly ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen? She says no? She turns you down for a date? Okay, that sucks. I gotcha. But what have you lost? The answer in the overall scheme of things is absolutely nothing. And when you start thinking like that, then you can put yourself out there and start approaching women without fear, no matter what your experience level is. Bringing me to step number 2, we are all in it together. So the second thing you've got to realize if you are inexperienced is that you aren't the only nervous person in the room. I mean, whether you've never had sex or had sex 100 times, most of us experience some nerves when we are faced with the opportunity to see a new person naked. I mean, sex is a vulnerable thing and it brings out everyone's insecurities in one way or another. So it should be helpful to remember that the person you're approaching or the person that you are sleeping with will probably be more focused on her own nervousness than she is on yours. And she's probably hoping that you like her just as much as you're hoping that she likes you, which means that you're both on the same team. And hopefully that gives you the chance to relax and just be a little bit more yourself. Which brings me to step number 3, don't be afraid to ask. Now that we've covered the more basic mindset tips, let's get into the nuts and bolts of what made the difference for Darren and many of my clients. From your initial approach, all the way through sex and following up the next morning or the next date, it is important to remember that most women like when men initiate. And I get that, especially early on, this can be super intimidating. A lot of men out there feel a pressure to come off as super confident and even dominant, knowing exactly what to do and how to do it. But not too much and not too soon, right? Because you don't want to be seen as a creep. And this is even scarier if you aren't super experienced, which is why it is important to remember that it is always okay to ask. You don't have to roll up with some fake machismo and pretend to be dominant, especially if that's not you. And if you don't have that in you, then trying to fake it is going to come across as awkward. I mean, the thing that most women respond to is respect and sincerity. And taking initiative doesn't have to be done dominantly. But if you want to gain experience, It does have to be done. Be prepared to ask women out. It can be as simple as, hey, you seem really cool and I'd love to get to know you more. Can I take you out for dinner, picnic, roller skating? Now, a note on this ask. It is important to have something specific in mind, just to put it out there. I mean, it could be as simple as drinks. And then be prepared to follow up with specific dates and times. Do not leave that to her. This shows that you are willing to take the lead and that you have put some thought into this whole thing. This is where that masculine initiative comes from. And if you are already in a relationship, when it comes to getting physical, asking is also key. If the date is going well, no matter how long you've been together, you feel like there's a vibe between you, you need to be able to trust yourself and that in the moment you will know when it's right to make things physical. Even if you don't have a bunch of experience with this, your intuition knows. You can be sensitive to a tension rising. You'll feel that the eye contact changes. Maybe she holds your gaze a little bit longer. Maybe you think that you see a little look in her eyes. This is the time for you to trust your instinct. And if you have the feeling that she's waiting for you to say, kiss her, well, she probably is. And the easiest thing that you can do in these moments when your instinct is saying, this is the time, is ask. It is as simple as saying, can I kiss you? Consent is sexy. Verbalizing consent is sexy. Trust me on this. And every time that things continue to heat up and you want to take it to the next stage, feel free to ask. Can I touch you here? Can I take this off? Do you want to go to the bedroom? Questions do not kill the mood. They just make sure that everyone is having a good time. Just make sure to listen for her enthusiastic yes, and do not settle for anything less, no matter how much you want to take the next step. Because if you are a high value man and you hear her say, okay, or fine, or sure, tell her that sounds like a no. She will respect you so much more for being the kind of man who demands clarity and doesn't settle for anything less. Number 4. Fine-tune your technique. Now, when it comes to learning technique, you are in the right place. Subscribe to this channel. Because I have so many videos about basically every single sex act, from oral to fingering, how to thrust, places to touch a woman, everything in between. Watching my content can be super helpful for gaining an understanding of female pleasure. Take the time, familiarize yourself with female anatomy and preferences, and check out my courses if you want to take a deeper dive on anything. Because when it comes to building up a physical skill set, when you're actually with a woman, there are quite a few things to remember. The first is that every woman is different. We all like to be touched in different and specific ways. We find it easier to orgasm in specific positions. We kiss differently. We have different sensitivity levels. Our clitorises are hooded and not hooded, and it goes on and on and on. And every time that a guy sleeps with a new woman, he's got to figure out her specific sexual code. And there are a couple things that you should remember when you're there trying to crack it. Firstly, it is always, universally, a good idea to start slow. When kissing, don't start with super heavy tongue making out right away. Start gentle. Let things build up slowly. Put your attention on her body and her breath, and let how she reacts be your guide. And the same is true with touching her. Play around with different pressures and tempos, pay attention, get to understand how she reacts as you try different things and intensify your touch. And remember my previous tip, it is okay to ask questions. You can simply ask her to tell you how she likes it. It is also important to remember that no matter how much experience you have, sex is about exploration. So take the focus off of feeling like you need to know it all and race through it all, and instead focus on the fact that you are learning about how to please a new person. Like, even if you have a lot of sexual experience in general, you don't have sexual experience with the person in front of you. And neither does she, right? Understand, she's doing the same with you. In fact, the pleasure of exploration is something that super experienced lovers and folks in long-term relationships work so hard to get back to. Take your time, be present, and focus on the wonderful and natural activity of getting to know each other's bodies. Step number 5, use your dress rehearsals wisely. And by dress rehearsals, I mean masturbation. For men without a lot of experience, it is common to worry about how long you'll last in bed. And this is something that you can actually practice and get better at on your own. The thing about your body is that it can't really tell the difference between sex and masturbation. Like, as far as your skin is concerned, it's the same, right? So if you're worried about busting a nut before the job is done, well, you've got to check out how you're jerking off. If you are going fast and furious and just getting the job done in a couple minutes, well, I hate to break it to you, but you will probably bust just as quickly when you're with an actual woman, or actually quicker. You've got to take your time and train your body to last longer. You can even try edging, which is bringing yourself close to orgasm and then edging back to make your orgasm and even your erections last longer. I made a whole YouTube video on this. But if you want my best teachings on lasting longer in bed and my method for developing full control over your orgasm, then check out my course, Come When You Want. The link is in the description. You know what? I have a little secret that I'm gonna let you in on. Although it does get easier, the feeling of nervousness and not being totally sure if you're doing it right is never going to go completely away. And that's a good thing. It's what keeps us on the edge of our seat. Like I said before, the amazing thing about sex is that it's an exploration of what happens when two unique bodies get together and focus on pleasure. This means that it's gonna be different with every combination of 2 or 3 or more people. And there will always be something new to explore. The more experienced you are, the more comfortable you get with the fact that there is always something new to try and to learn. Which brings me to step 7, accept your current level of experience. Why don't you save yourself some trouble right now and start thinking that way? Accept that, yes, you might be telling yourself a story about your inexperience, but if you just go into every encounter with curiosity and a willingness to explore, then you're probably gonna have a great time, and so will she. And remember, if you want personalized help and support along your journey, you can always do what Darren did and just sign up for coaching. That way you have access to me or my team of certified coaches through every step in your real life, day-to-day situations. I've put the link to apply in the description below. I'm Caitlin V. Thank you for watching, and I will see you here next time. Bye-bye.